significant. Do you believe there was criminal activity with the Clinton Foundation itself? Both said yes. In fact, they said, well, how are you so confident of that? And Doyle states, well, and Moynihan stated, well, we talked to the CFO of the Clinton Foundation. He said, quote, I know where all the bodies are buried, end quote. And this came from Zero Hedge. The CFO of the Clinton Foundation, thinking he was meeting an old professional acquaintance, admitted to investigators, or whistleblowers, that the charity had widespread problems with governance, accounting, and conflicts of interest, and that Bill Clinton has been commingling business and personal expenses for a long time. That was actually reported through John Solomon as well, through The Hill. And what the whistleblower said at the hearing was, yeah, what we found, that CFO told us, was correct. We found that Bill Clinton mixed personal business with the Clinton Foundation, used donated funds for personal use. Direct quote, funds were used as a piggy bank for senior leaders of the foundation, Bill, Hillary, Chelsea, for personal expenses such as, and they said, well, such as what? And they said, their vacations. And then they were pushed. Both sides, both the Republicans and the Democrats, really one side. They're all Republicrats owned by the globalist syndicate. Well, if this is so important, why didn't you turn this over to Department of Justice? Well, we did. In fact, here's what they said. We turned over the documents as early as 2017 to the IRS. In addition, we turned over documents to the FBI and actually had feedback from the FBI and were told there was an active, here's the bomb, the nuclear, active, ongoing, open criminal investigation of the foundation through the FBI field office. And then they said they also sent letters, they also sent information about the foundation, although they didn't know if it was in his purview, to Huber in April of 2018, May, October, and November. And they also sent information in June of 2018 to the Department of Justice Inspector General. But they said that the open criminal investigation that they were aware of because of feedback they had from the FBI was through the FBI sources that they had. And then they said, well, do you have any proof that this investigation is occurring? And they said, well, yeah. In fact, we have pictures of this jet sent by the Justice Department that came in August of 2018, and people left the plane, went to the Clinton Foundation, took out boxes, and here are the boxes, and the boxes were put on the plane and went back to Washington. See, what they were saying is, look, how did they know that plane was going to arrive at 8 a.m. on August 18th of 2018? They were told by the FBI to be there to confirm that things were moving ahead. So they went there and they took pictures of it. Now, it's my understanding while Doyle and Moynihan were testifying on December 13th, 2018, the Justice Department again sent up another plane down to Little Rock, more records out of the Clinton Foundation, and actually also sent a plane, as I understand it, to the airport closest to where the Clintons have a hangout in Chappaqua, New York. Again, more documents. Now remember, there was that fire in Chappaqua. Coincidence? When Doyle and Moynihan concluded that between $400 million and $2.5 billion was used improperly by the Clinton Foundation. Oh, by the way, I believe it wasn't August 18th, if I come to think about it. It was August 8th of 2018 that jet was chartered by the Department of Justice. There's a lot happening because the Clinton Foundation is not only linked to the Clintons. As I said at the beginning of this video, it is a front for the deep state. Money laundering, drugs, weapons. You take down the foundation, you not only take down the Clintons, but you take down a huge chunk of the deep state. There's something else that's ongoing that you need to be aware about that the bought-off lamestream fake media is not touching. Jerry Corsi. I've had Dr. Corsi on my show twice. on Operation Freedom. I really was a fan of his and felt that he was a great freedom fighter. About a year ago, I turned a little sour on him because of some stuff he was doing and saying. Then he was subpoenaed by Mueller's team. They were trying to create a link between Corsi and the emails that this quote, the Russians hacked. It was a leak, not a hack. Just listen to our interview with Bill Binney from our platform. And then that Corsi was working in conjunction with Trump. None of that's true. He was interviewed, interrogated for 40 hours, and over Thanksgiving he became very somber and saying he was going to plea out, and and then all of a sudden Thanksgiving weekend, all of a sudden things changed. And I think what changed is he came in contact with Larry Klayman, who I believe is one of the toughest, if not the toughest, most feared attorneys by the deep state. Larry's been on my show a number of times on Operation Freedom and on our Insider Insight show. For Larry Klayman to take Corsi's case, because what Corsi ended up saying at the end of that Thanksgiving weekend is, look, I was being forced to lie. That's suborning perjury. Mueller's prosecutors were telling me I had to lie in order to finger Trump. And I just can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, I'll go to jail. I'm not doing that. Suborning perjury is a crime. When you're suborning perjury that leads to the removal of a president of the United States unduly, that's sedition. And that is what Larry Klayman decided to work with on Jerry Corsi. They are suing Mueller and his team for $350 million for trying to get Corsi to lie, to suborn perjury against the President of the United States. This case is going to court on January 3rd. They tried to push it off, Mueller's team, by saying, oh, the government shut down, so we can't, oh no. The judge said, bull, it's going to court on January 3rd. We have to watch what happens January 3rd. But in addition to that, Larry Klayman is tough, and he has won some huge cases. He represented a friend of mine against the NSA and beat him. And Jerry, Jerry Corsi, I believe, is in really good hands with Klayman. And for Klayman to take the case, one, he doesn't take case unless he thinks he can really win and really shove it into the deep state's throat. And number two, he wouldn't have taken Corsi's case if he felt Corsi was not playing for the freedom fighters. But now the Senate has jumped on and trying to coerce Corsi to testify and present information so that they can leak it, right? And Larry Klayman wrote this great letter, and I got my hands on it. I want to read it to you because the fake media is not going to touch this. It was written to Burr, who's a Republican, who's really a globalist, Warner, globalist, this committee, and they're trying to get Corsi to hand over information and testify in front of them, right? And here's what Larry Klayman, the letter he wrote to Burr and Warner. In response to your letter dated December 14, 2018, to David Gray and me, Larry Klayman, counsel for Dr. Jerome Corsi, on behalf of Dr. Corsi, we respectfully decline your offer for our client to produce voluminous, overly broad, irrelevant documents, which you can obtain from special counsel Robert Mueller in any event, as well as to appear before an interview with your so-called, quote, bipartisan committee staff, end quote. Rather, you and this bipartisan staff are highly politicized and thus ill-equipped to conduct a fair and neutral investigation and are merely a part of the ongoing Republican and Democrat elite establishment witch hunt to destroy the presidency of Donald J. Trump by making persons such as our client whipping boys in this unethical, if not illegal, pursuit to coerce false testimony. Dr. Corsi will not be part of this, and thus we respectfully request that you do not continue to harass and effectively threaten him and his family, as has been the case with the special counsel and his unethical pro-Clinton, pro-Democrat, and anti-Trump conflicted prosecutors. On behalf of our client, we wish you a happy new year, free from politics of personal destruction, designed to serve the interests of the elite establishments of both political parties, bent on taking down the 45th president of the United States so they can run their own candidates for the White House in 2020. Sincerely, Larry Klayman. Boom. It's my understanding the deep state is petrified of Klayman and what Corsi has. They have a deep state operatives coercing perjury in order to entrap a president on false charges. This is huge. And they're panicked. And it's my understanding Mueller's team are trying to settle this so that this doesn't go anywhere. Well, Klayman might settle part of it, but he's not going to shut up. And neither is Corsi, I believe. The deep state, there are things happening. And I believe 2019 is going to be a big year for freedom fighters and a really bad year for the deep state. Let's see what happens on that hearing on January 3rd. Let's really keep watching these whistleblowers because Doyle and Monahan, they're not backing off. They are not backing off. And Huber still has his investigation on the Clinton emails on how it was handled by the Department of Justice and the FBI, and his investigation on what the FBI and Department of Justice did in their, if you will, framing the Trump administration with this fake Russian hack narrative. That's where Huber's focused. And remember, Department of Justice official, Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who was the guy who brought us all this information about, which has led to 26 high officials in the FBI and Department of Justice to be either fired, resigned, reassigned, or removed and put in hold because of ongoing internal investigations. And remember, Horowitz is the guy. When it came out just this past week that Mueller's team tried to deep six 19,000 text messages between Strzok and Page, who came forward and said, we got him. We got the 19,000. Horowitz. Horowitz is also the guy who recommended McCabe for prosecution. There's a lot coming. And I understand everybody's frustrated because there haven't been any orange jumpsuits. The deep state is panicked. And if you don't believe that, go back to the George H.W. Bush funeral and take a look at Jeb. One, he shouldn't play poker. But number two, that's not the reaction of a guy who's winning. Or if you look at these other people opening their programs and the reaction they're getting when they see the envelopes. Those aren't winners. They're losers. I thank you for joining me. Again, we're available every Sunday, 2 to 5 Eastern, DaveJanda.com, free, and listen to the show. In addition, 24/7, DaveJanda.com, free side, public side, subscription side, 30 cents a day. I believe one of the biggest bangs for the buck in all the internet. I hope you'll join us on the free side and support us on the subscription side. Look, these videos are not monetized by YouTube. We got rejected. Why? Because people that have stolen my content, put them on their sites that are already monetized. YouTube's telling me that they're duplicates. My original is the duplicate, right? So in other words, my car got stolen, and these guys are driving down the street, and they get in a crash with it, and the insurance company is paying them, not me, for my car. It's wrong. So the only way you can support us, if you like these videos, if you like what we do on DaveJanda.com, and again, we present a tremendous amount of content on our subscription side, I hope you'll join us. And again, as we close every segment,